listening to the Money Monopolizers podcast, helping you take control of your financial destiny. It's about time that we invest more in our financial literacy and work towards building generational wealth. If you think you're ready to do the same, then you've come to the right place. Alex, Marlon, y'all ready? Let's get this bread.
What's good, everybody? It's Alex Kamoon here. We are back with episode 148 of the Money Monopolizers podcast. Now I'm here with my co-host.
You trying to give a shit? If anybody on YouTube, getting a show over here. We back with what?
We back with it. We got. Stay tuned for the end for some exclusive.
Right. But yeah, footage. Yes. No. Now we got past that. No, everything's been good, man. You supposed to. I'm doing all right today. So okay. First I'll start there.
There we go.
Everything's been really good. I think I've been in the part of the business where everything right now has been all about growth. And it's been so much learning. Like that's kind of one thing I've seen. I think this is something that a lot of people may even experience, is that if you're in a point in the business where you're trying to get to the next level, everything is new. Right. I mean, literally everything that I'm doing is different than what we've done in the past. Whether I talked last week about the bookkeeping, even about insurance. There's so many things I learned about insurance wise, as far as like what's preventing us from being able to get insurance from other lenders. I think I've already gone on a tangent, but me and my dad in the rental car business, just for anybody who doesn't know, I'm in the rental car business for 2 years now. We're actually trying to up-level ourselves to where we can be like a full independent operation. And the reason I was just like getting on this tangent is because everything that I'm doing right now is just like new. And in insurance, I learned a whole new word I never knew before. It's called loss runs.
Oh yeah.
I think I've mentioned it offline with you before, but that's something that I asked a lot of different people about that. Most people don't even know what that is.
Really?
Because it's like the credit for your rental car when you go to insurance. Like it's like your insurance credit. So they're pretty much looking at how many claims have you been filing. And so I didn't even know what that was. And I asked Turo, hey, do y'all have these things called loss runs? He's like, oh yeah, we can give you your statement. So I get it from them. I'm like, oh yeah, it just pretty much shows every time that you had a claim that was filed on Turo.
Was yours cooked?
I didn't think it was cooked because I didn't know what the metrics were. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I got the loss runs. Hey, so Mr. Insurance Company, here's my loss runs. Can you insure us now? They do their underwriting. They go back and look at it, and they say, we're not even about to quote you. I'm like, what you mean? Like, what's wrong with my loss runs? He's like, bro, your stuff is trash.
Really?
I was like, wow. Like, what? Like, so what's wrong with it? Because now I'm like in the learner state. Because that's what, like I said, everything is so new. I've never even heard this term before. So I asked them, just assuming that it was gonna be okay anyway. Like as far as like what the losses are gonna report. But I learned so much from just those conversations I was having with my insurance agent. He was kind of telling me about like what insurance companies are looking for that insure rental car companies. And he's talking about like different metrics that they're looking for. And he's talking about like how the more losses that you report to your first company makes you less credible to the next company. So when we report claims on Turo, the more claims you have, the less likely you'll be able to get insurance if you want to become your own rental car business later.
Right.
Nobody tells you that.
All right.
Nobody tells you that up front. So for anybody who's listening, y'all got some free gems. But that is literally the experience I've been going through right now in regards to like trying to break through to that next level. Right. So I did find a company that actually doesn't look at loss runs. They take you in regardless. So I was able to utilize them, but they have more restrictions on what kind of cars you can get. So you can't have like the exotic cars in your fleet or things like that. It's like a lot of technicalities. But like I said, everything in the business has been very, very new. And so it's just trying to break through every single barrier and just pretty much having tenacity to say nothing's going to stop me. Yeah. That's kind of that's the position I'm in at the moment. And I'm just fully determined now. Like, we're about to break through.
That's interesting. I mean, that's dope. I think one thing that I really enjoy about business too is the fact that I really like learning new things. Specifically, like to me, I get a lot of enjoyment about learning new things specifically to what I am like doing, because that tells me that that tells me like, okay, cool, this is a new piece of information that's going to help me get to the next level that I didn't previously have. And the fact that I didn't have it before is a good indication as to like why I haven't got to that next level yet.
Yes.
So now that I have this new piece of information, like it gives me excitement, even though like whatever, it was like, okay, your lost ones is trash, right? I know now, at least I know now that they were trash. Before I didn't even know. Like it was like, I didn't even know. So now
cooking it.
Yeah. And you could have kept like, it could have got worse, but like now, okay, that and those kinds of things, obviously if you're trying to grow your business and get to that next level of financial freedom or whatever it is you're trying to grow, like you have to always be inquisitive. You have to always be in that state of what, like you have to be very curious to learn why things are the way they are so that you can, you know, make the right adjustments and be able to go and get to that next level. And I think that's just, it's a good trait to have in general, just having that inquisition and that curiosity as an entrepreneur, because as you continue to try to go there, there's gonna be a lot of other things you're gonna come across in your business or whatever it is you're doing, whether, you know, if it doesn't even have to be business, whatever it is you're doing, you're always going to be learning. Like there's always going to be something that you can learn along the way. And as you learn it, you just become more of an expert in whatever it is you're doing, and you become more competent, and therefore you become more confident in whatever it is you're doing. And that's like, you know, I think the ultimate thing that you should be trying to get to. We talked about last episode how you know, how important it is to like understand that what you're doing to get financial freedom is you should be developing a skill, and the skill that you're developing should be something that you can rely on, right? And in business you develop multiple skills, right? And that's like, I think a key thing that's you're kind of seeing too here, where it's like, you know, learning about the insurance, learning about all these different things. That's something that is being developed. Like that skill, you know, is being developed too, just, you know, in that aspect of business. So that's very encouraging to see. And those, I say all that to say is like, I don't know. I get excited when I come across like things that I didn't know. Cause it's like, dang, I can't wait to like implement this.
Yes.
Or like,
that's been, and I think people approach everything differently. So I definitely always say like you can have a choice to approach things with a positive or negative outlook. Yeah. I can't tell you. I was probably talking to our different insurance companies for probably 2 or 3 weeks straight, and kept on getting denied one after another. As far as people saying, yeah, your loss runs, they're not where they need to be. So I finally just said, you know what? I'm not even gonna look at it as a bad thing. I'm gonna look at this as a great thing and say, this is my opportunity to, for one, forewarn other people in the future, but also for me to figure out how can we make this adjustment, because we actually were doing this wrong. This is pretty much like an employee to come in and tell me, hey, this is part of your system is bad. That's how I look at it, because like I even say for our customers are our best employees, because they are the ones who will highlight the things that we need to improve on in our business, the things we need to tighten up. This insurance agent is coming back and being another employee of mine and telling me you're not doing your reporting claims correctly. You're reporting too many. That's kind of what he was telling me. So that's indirectly what I received from based on our conversation. And so now I learned how to navigate better. So now when we do move offline, we're not claims heavy and just continuously reporting claims and then trying to figure out why insurance is dropping us. Yeah, because that's what's going to happen if we continue to do that with your normal insurance provider.
And it's good you learn that early on. That's why I think people, you gotta, whatever it is you're doing, trying to fail as quickly as possible, as counterintuitive as it sounds, is the best thing you can do. So that way you can learn, like going all in as much as you can, learning all the different things you can. That way it's like you can avoid the pitfalls of doing the wrong thing over and over and over again. That can possibly make things more difficult for you later down the road. Because understand, it's like if something is so easy early on, it's because like think about something like Turo. Like that's a very easy thing to anybody can get. Like the barrier to entry is very low.
Correct.
But it's like, okay, it's so easy right now. And credit a lot of that to Turo because they know their customer. Yep. Right? They know who they're targeting. They know that they're looking for that person that's just, you know, an individual that wants to make some extra money. But it's like, you know, to go beyond that, it's going to be a lot more difficult. And you had to understand that. And, you know, that's kind of, you know, that journey that unfolds in all businesses. It's like there's no business where it's like, it's just easy success. Like a true business is just success immediately. And it just takes off immediately. And there's no issues at all. Like a true business you own and operate and you control 100% of everything.
Yeah, no, that's why I love this. I'm actually, this is probably the most excited I've been about the business ever.
Really?
Because this is where I see everything that we're doing is, like I said, everything is new. So that means I'm growing. And because the only reason it's new is because we haven't done it before.
Right.
If we haven't done it before, it's because we're aspiring to get to the next level. Everything that we do at the next level is different than what we've been doing right now. That's why I love the quote, what got you here won't get you there. Because running operation on Turo, being on the 75 plan, for anybody who doesn't know, that's just like the protection plan we use in order to like get a certain amount of claims covered. So running, like doing certain things the way that we've done before is actually not going to work at all at the next level. So you have to make the mindset shift of adapting what the next level requires. So me continuously talking to different companies, like I'll go back to the bookkeeping from last week, talking to lenders. Every time I talk to a lender, they would say, okay, we need to have 2 years of business financial statements. We need to have 2 years of personal statements with 2 years of tax returns. So if you don't have that stuff, you're like, oh shoot, I need to go back to the drawing board and figure out how to get it. Right. That's what ended up happening to us. I think I talked to them probably back in like June, and trying to figure out how, what do I need to do to get lending? And everybody said the same thing. That's showing me that we're not doing something right. This is the industry standard that they're all saying, because they're not saying it like it's some random thing or like it's something that's like that's uncommon. That's like the normal thing that they require. So lending companies, they require financial statements, 2 years worth. Insurance company, they require loss runs. I didn't know about either one of those before 2022. So now the way we were operated back in 2021, 2020 can't be operated like that in 2022 and beyond if I want to get to the next level. Yeah. It's all about, but by having that aspiration for growth and like really getting to the next level, that's what's giving us opportunities to start seeing different things that we didn't already have. So that's why I'm so excited about it.
That's a fact. That's a fact. New problems is always the goal. And if you have new problems, that means you're growing. Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's the goal, but they're to be expected if you want to continue to grow. And that's definitely a good thing. You should be, like you said, looking at them in a positive way, because you know it's like, okay, cool, I'm going in the right direction. You know progress. You know the needle's moving. Yeah. And if one thing that I know about business is true, it's like if things is the exact same way as they was a year ago,
that's a fact,
nothing else has changed. Same exact situation, like you're having the same issues, whatever. The needle has not moved at all. You haven't made any progress. You might have made money, but that doesn't mean you made progress. Mm-hmm. So it's a big difference. And I think you should truly like really have a good awareness of what the difference is between like making progress and making money. Because you can make money without making any progress.
I think this is so critical, because there's a lot of people that will be in a similar situation as where I'm at. And I think there's a lot of people that are in a similar situation where they want to get to the next level, but when they see the work that's required to get there, they actually rather stay doing what they've already been doing. Like they want to do like they're comfortable with familiarity. So the things I've already been doing, because I'm proficient in it, I'm just going to continue to do that, but never up-level your business. Even though you may not be in the best situation as far as like being able to have your business pay for your lifestyle, or not, you haven't reached your goal, it's more comfortable to stay at where you're currently at. Yeah. So that means that now you pretty much forego the goal that you originally wanted for the sake of your own comfort.
Yeah, and that's, oh my gosh, that's a death sentence. Yeah. Because you're pretty much, it's like, man, I'm trying to think of the best analogy, but it's like, I kind of think of that in the same way as like, you get a good job, but you hate the job, but it pays you good. So it's like, it's like,
how to do it.
You know, that paycheck is like the drug they use to sedate you and to make sure that, you know, kind of just keep, accept this. Well, you know, it ain't that bad. Relax. Come on. It's, you know, what's wrong with a little bit of, you know, labor, a little bit of slavery? Like, yeah, that's kind of how they looking at you. So to me, with business and really just with anything in general, financial freedom, you got to really understand that it's like, oh, you have to be uncomfortable. Like, if you're not uncomfortable, if you're really trying to become wealthy, if you're really trying to get financial freedom, if you're really trying to level up in any way, if you're always comfortable, you're not getting there. Like if you feel that you should always be in a place, and this is just a mental attitude you have to adapt to, where it's like, because what happens is you can understand this, but until you like really like internalize it and understand that, because when those negative things happen, you have to be able to just say, okay, this is just a part of it. And I know that's easier said than done, but you understand, it's like, okay, because I know I'm going to a place I haven't been, I'm going to experience things I haven't yet, right? I know I'm going to, do things that I understand that in order for me to do things that others can't, I have to do things others won't, right? It's a fundamental mentality and just way of life that I have to really internalize and live with, because that is the only way you're going to really be able to truly get to another level. And that's with anything in life. Like, there's nothing in life where, you're going to be able to comfortably do what you always want to do, never have to really, be in any uncomfortable situations, and be able to kind of get to the next. And I feel like a good analogy just in my own life too is like, because obviously, I've been like working out and stuff for a long part of my life since it's now been over half of my life. Been working out since I was 12. I'm 26, 14 years. Dang. That's more than half of my life where it's like you've been working out in the gym, whatever. And, for a long time, you were seeing progress, right? But over the last 2 years, I'm pretty much like plateaued, right? For the most part. Not to say that like, I'm not in shape. I'm plateaued, meaning like I peaked and then it's just flat.
Yep.
So it's like I didn't peak and then keep peaking, because it's like, eventually there's a diminishing return, right? There's a law of diminishing return there. And one thing that, I truly do understand is that I don't even know what point I was making with that.
Hey, welcome to the club. Go back to last episode.
Yeah, I think I was saying that. Dang, I don't even remember. I think I was saying that I don't even know. I think I was saying with financial freedom that you have to really understand that, there's, a point where there should always be a point where like, you're improved until you get to that point where you want to be.
That's key for me. That's the key.
There should always be times and periods where you're like not comfortable. Yep. Right. And I think I'm just trying to really help you visualize the phases and the kind of the lifestyle of how it looks like during this journey. Right. Because as long as I know there's times where it's like, dang, I don't want to do this. Dang, I don't feel comfortable. Dang, this sucks. I know I haven't made it. I'm kind of not there yet. Right. But once I'm to that point, because that's what I was saying with it. Because with like working out, it's like, I don't get to a point where I'm working out where it's like, dang, I need to like, I still get sore and stuff like that. But it's not like, I don't be like in pain and stuff anymore. It's just kind of like my body has adapted to the punishment. It's like normal. It's not even a punishment. It's just normal. It's what I do. Yep. And, I work out very intensely. Yep. And that's like, for me, that's normal for me. And so my body has adapted to that. And now I say this similar with, on the journey to financial freedom, building wealth or anything, your body becomes adapted to that as the norm until eventually it's like, you got there. And it's like, this is just who I am now.
Man, I got a lot with this, bro. I love this analogy. I'm about to get on it. So this analogy of working out. So before you work out, before you ever get to working out, I'm gonna bring it back to financial freedom sense in a second. But before somebody chooses that they want to go work out, they are living a certain lifestyle, or in their body is a reflection of that. So whether they're skinny or whether they're overweight, their body is a reflection of their current lifestyle. Now you have to start. Now, if you won't have a certain desire of a certain goal that you want to get to, it may be really far away. Like you may want to be like a chiseled body or a bodybuilder, or it may just be like you want to just be more in shape. So now you're going to put forth a certain level of workload, like a certain level of like work that you're putting in order to get a certain result. So now you make a certain workout plan where you're doing like 5 sets of bench, and you do that every single week, and just continue to do that same routine. It's going to get you a certain level of result. And that's going to be that's where you're going to hit the plateau, because throughout that transition from the beginning of it to like the beginning of your workout journey to where you get to that certain level, like let's use you for example, you got to a certain level of like how your physique right now. That's because you're probably doing this very similar workouts as you were doing maybe years back. So this particular routine right here is going to get this result. If you want to get past that, you have to change your routine, because what got you to this result will not get you to the next one. So it's like the things you're doing in your business right now, or the things you're doing to achieve financial freedom, it may have got you to this level. But now if you want to get to the next level that's beyond that, and if your goal is not at this current level and it's at the next level, then you have to do more than what you've already been doing. So for us, if we want to get 100 cars in our business, or we want to get $350,000 a month in cash flow, we can't do what we've been doing. and well, as far as like in gross income per month, we can't continue to do this particular workload that we've been doing because it's not possible. That's why when I'm talking to lenders, they're saying you're not doing the things you need to be doing. You're not generating your financial statements. This is required to get what you're asking for. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the insurance. Your loss runs are not correct. You're not doing what's required to get to that level. So you need to go do something different to get to that next level. So same thing with, like I said, working out. If you want to get like a bodybuilder status, you can't keep doing your same workouts anymore. You have to up level your workouts, your eating routines, and you have to really be invested more so and put forth more effort to get to that level.
Right. Because that's so true. And that's a bar, because you got to think, it's like, if that was enough to get you to that next level, you would have already got there.
Correct. Exactly.
Like, why haven't you got there? Why aren't you like pacing towards that much quickly? And that's like an easy way to really look at it. Like where you are right now, it's like, cool. I think a lot of people, because, you get caught up, because you come from an employee mindset of like linear effort to reward, as far as like, I'm going to put in X amount of work and I'm going to get Y amount of dollars. You kind of take that same approach to financial freedom and entrepreneurship, and whatever it is you're doing outside of that, trading your time for money to make money. And it never works like that, because the reward is always delayed, number one, and the effort is always much more heightened in the beginning.
Very much so.
So it's like the effort is going to be very high, but eventually it gets to a point where that just becomes normal. Mm-hmm. And then you understand that's like, okay, cool, I got to this point. Then you would know that to get to the next level, okay, something else has to change. Like now either, effort got to change a little bit. And when I say effort, I don't mean like you're working harder or working more.
I meant to hit on that too.
It just means that what you've been doing specifically has to change. Like the input to get a new output has to change. Like maybe you were marketing your stuff a certain way, or maybe you were running your operations a certain way, or maybe you were, doing whatever a certain way. You were targeting certain deals to get to a certain level, right? Maybe you were buying single family houses, right? Now you have to change your input to do something else to be able to get to that next level. And it's a very, very easy thing to comprehend. And I think it's just not like internalized. Yeah. But you have to internalize it. And when I say internalize, it's like that has to become a belief, or it's like, but the thing is, it's not going to change it unless you feel like the pain enough. Because what happens is like, it's easy. If you don't like something, it's easy to tolerate it. It doesn't really change until you hate it. Right. But if I just don't like something, like if I just don't like someone, I can tolerate them. But if I truly hate them, I don't want to be around you. Yep. Like it's a different mentality, and that applies to anything. So it's like with business or just with financial freedom in general, the things I've been doing, it's like, do I hate my result? Yes. If I don't hate my result, I'm going to keep doing the things I've been doing to get that result. But if I truly hate the result I have, that if I'm truly it's despicable that I haven't reached the level of, wealth or financial freedom that I want, I'm going to change my result. If you're despicable with the way your body looks, you're going to change your eating habits. You're going to change the way you're in the gym. But if you just don't like it, it's like, it's all right. It's not bad enough. Like I'll just keep doing the same thing. And so it's like, internalize that concept. Seriously. Yeah.
I had this entire conversation with a couple of morning meetup people before. So the problem is that, I actually want to ask you this question. I want to see what your response is. What drives people more? The desire for where they want to go, or the pain for where they currently are?
Pain.
Easily.
But we just discussed this, how negative is a much more heightened emotion than the positive.
That's exactly it. Because that is why people choose to stay in their current situation. You have to be so adamantly positively, I hate this current situation. And that's what's going to be your driving force. The reason I'm so excited about where we're going is because I have the pain of, I hate this current position. I do not want to be here no more. I don't want to be doing all the work in the business. I want this to be able to be something where I'm not doing anything. That the pain of how much I'm doing right now and the amount of money we're able to make from it, That's the pain. That's what's driving me. It's not even the potential for where we're going, where I want to be. It's the pain of like where I'm currently at.
Right.
That's the drive motivational factor. The reason that people stagnate where they're at is because the pain of being there is not greater than where you desire to be.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom is a good example for this one. She desires to have to increase her business to a certain amount, like through like the network marketing and sales. I think I wanted to hit back to the example we had earlier. You're talking about like the activity just needs to be a little bit different. It's not more effort. It's maybe a different activity. So one thing she does all the time is she puts inside of like our family group chat when she's going live. So that's fine. That's how she markets, like let people know that, hey, I'm going live. Not marketing to people, but marketing to her family. I'm like, what if you did that same exact thing, but build out an email list? The email list that you like, all the people that you've sold to already before, and put them on a list and then send that same exact message to them. It's not more work. It's a different work that gets to a better result. And it's just but you have to have the pain of saying that the sales that I have right now are not where I want it to be. And that's greater than I'm not comfortable in my current situation. So that's what's going to be driving me to get to the next level. And so that small little shift could have monumental results if she go through and does that. But the pain of where you currently are has to be that great to where you're looking for what can I do differently in order to get there. And you're receptive to doing different things because you desire to get out of your current situation more than the pain of change.
Yeah. And that's such a fact because like, man, so many people are in situations where you're tolerating it because you don't hate it. It's like you can continue to do what you do. You can continue to work that job because you know that, man, they pay me good and, I'm able to pay my bills. And I know that, I can, continue to at least live the way I'm living now. And I don't hate the way I'm living now. It's just like, yeah, I wish it could be better. Like I see other people with financial freedom. I see other people that are wealthy. But I know that's like, man, I don't hate my situation enough to be able to change my input.
Yeah.
Because what happens is to change my input, that itself will require effort.
It requires uncomfortability.
Yeah, you said it's gonna require what?
Uncomfortability too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like that. And I think that's even a better word because it's going to force you there's gonna be uncertainty there with like, man, this situation is not ideal. It doesn't feel good. I'm gonna have to be doing things I don't necessarily like to do. And that will become something that will be enough to keep you from hating your situation. Mm-hmm. That trying to avoid the uncomfortableness will keep you from hating your situation, that's right? Because it's like, but again, you got to know yourself too, because a lot of this is all self-awareness. Like most of the things we speak is just generalizations, or really from our own experiences, not even generalizations. This is just how we are. But I would say you got to really know yourself. Generally, this is how I feel I know people to be. I know generally me though, myself, I am very motivated by, first of all, I don't put myself, I'm never rarely in a situation where I hate it, where it's enough where it's like, man, I hate this situation. It's either like, the biggest thing that drives me more so generally for me is seeing where I actually want to be. Yeah. Me personally, like, me. It's like seeing that, dang, I really want to get to that. That drives me because it's just like, I don't know, like that feeling or that accomplishment, that, achieving that will drive me. So you have to really truly know what does drive you. But for most people, generally, it is that pain or that hatred of a situation.
Yeah, and that's like something I think what you're talking about, like with 9-to-5ers too. This is a very big one for them because, there's two different pains that you have to experience. Either you're going to have the pain of having to change and to get to your goal. And so that's why when you start telling people, yeah, you go start a business, like, okay, well, I got it going. I don't really want to do too much with it because they have comfort with where they're currently at. So there's a pain of change and there's a pain of where you're currently at. So if I took away if you have somebody that is in a job and making like $150,000 a year versus somebody who got fired from their job and had nothing left, and they both had the same goal, who's going to be more adamant about going toward their goal?
The latter.
It's going to be the person that doesn't have an alternative. Like their pain is much greater of where they're currently at. So I can't I can't afford to stay in this position. Like I have to do something different. So the pain of where I'm currently at is greater than the pain of having to change.
Yeah.
That's what usually is going to make people start moving the needle in their life, whether it's in their life or in their business. Like that's usually the thing is that you have to truly be adamantly hate your current situation for that to happen.
And you know, another one I would add too, because you got the pain of change, you got the pain of what was the other one?
The pain of change and the pain of your current situation.
I would also have the pain of regret, because that's another one that will feel me too. Right. Is just like knowing that, like, dang, especially if time passes. Because one thing I hate is time passing
and nothing changed.
That irks me. Oh my gosh, that's like my thing that probably gets me down to like my kryptonite. Like that, if you wanted to like take me down, it's like, yo, keep me locked in a place where
the same thing pretty much do a job.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing a job is good. That's your kryptonite. Don't do it to me.
That is 100% right. Because I know that, like, yo, if time passes and I'm still in the same place, I just wasted something so valuable.
Mm-hmm.
I just wasted something I will never get back. No matter how much money I make, no matter what, I will never be able to get that time back. Who knows what I could have compounded on top of that. That's the thing too. You got to understand the time value of money too.
Yeah.
It's like money has value today that loses value over time. And so it's like the quicker I can get to it, the sooner I can get to it, the quicker I can get to that next level, because I can compound on top of that. Right. And so to me, that pain of regret, I know that, man, that feeling of like knowing that, I should have done that, or I wish I'd done that. That alone is enough to make sure that, yo, I am not going to let that happen to me. Like, I don't want to be in that situation where, because that sucks. This is like nothing you can do about it. Once time passes and you be like, that's why there's so many things, because there's so many reasons this like sits with me, because it's like, I'm big on like, it's not a good thing, but like I look back on things. I do a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda, wouldas, where it's like, yeah, coulda, shoulda, woulda. But it's like, yes, I know, but it doesn't make it easier to stomach it, because it's like, why didn't I know it at that time?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I have a sense of urgency to know that, like, yo, you have to figure out what it is you need to know, and you need to execute it now, because you don't have time to waste, because in the future, you know that you're going to be upset. I know that guy in the future is going to be pissed. He's going to be very mad. That guy in 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, he's going to be pissed at. Number one, I didn't know it. And you can say, oh, it's not your fault. You don't know. Oh, I should have figured out why I didn't know it. Number two, I didn't execute on it. Mm-hmm. So that is what drives me, though.
I think that's a good one to hit on, is pain of regret. Because I think what you were talking about in regards to time value of money, that puts it in perspective in two senses for me. So the first one is in regards to how money is more valuable today than it is in the future. So if the money is losing value, that means that I need to if I capitalize on this amount of money today, I get a better return on it, versus if I use the same money next year.
Yeah.
So the return as far as what I'm going to be able to gain from it is going to be less, because I use it today when it was worth more. Same thing with you personally as a person. If I execute with my energy level that I have today, like me being younger as an example, I have a certain energy level that I have today. If I wait 10 years, I may be in a whole nother situation where I have less energy and I may have less time available to me. So now,
oh my gosh,
my entire situation has changed to make it more difficult. So I should really be locking in right now, because of the opportunity, the energy level that I have, number one, and my position that I'm currently in, whatever that position may be, because it always can you never know if it may get worse or not. So I'm just going to capitalize on what I got, no matter what it is, whether I have kids, whether I'm single, no matter what, capitalize on it today versus waiting to see what happens 10 years from now, which could be worse.
Yeah, man. And you know what's so crazy about this too? I love that you brought that point up about the position you're in, because what happens, you don't know how many people I've seen, especially now that we're getting older, where it's like, I've talked to people about 2-3 years ago where they were like, you know, single, it was just them, or maybe it was just them and a wife or whatever, spouse. And they were like, yeah, I want financial freedom. I want to do this. And then 2 years later, it's like, now they got a kid.
Yep.
And it's like, I always see that. And it's like, they might have had 2 kids back then and now they got 3, or they might have had 0 and now they got 1. And I always see that. I'm like, damn. I don't want to say that sucks, but because that's obviously don't suck, but it's like, damn, that's going to be a lot harder now. Yeah. You just added a few years to the process. And it's like, man, I wish you would have capitalized when you first saw it or when you first had, that would kill me. Like me personally,
that pain and regret part is going.
That's when that regret is going to eat me alive, because it's like, damn, bro, I was, 26, 27, 25 years old, and I was just me, and I didn't do enough. And now, it's me, and I got, X amount of kids. I got a wife, and I got more responsibility, and I can't be as crazy or as I can't take as big a risk. And it's not to say you can't. All this is all perspective, because what is in the past is in the past. Mm-hmm. So it's not to say like you can go back. So I don't say this to make anyone feel bad or feel some type of way. I just say it to say, understand that the situation you have now is the best situation that you have.
That's just a perspective to look at it with. It don't matter what the situation is. If you look at that as your best, as the best situation you can be in, and the next one could be worse. So I need to capitalize on this one. That can always give you a positive outlook on your current place that you're currently in.
Because who knows? More than likely, it's not going to get easier. Let's just keep it on. It's more than likely not getting easier, because life just gets in the way. The older we get, the more we progress. Things just happen that are out of your control. But in the present time, you're here listening to this. So right now, you know that you have some sort of capability. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening. If you knew it was no shot in the dark, you wouldn't even be listening to this. If you had 15 kids and you had you wouldn't even be listening to this. But that's like, okay, you have a feeling, you in your gut, you can make it happen. You can get financial freedom, but you had to act on it today. You don't have time. That's the thing. I want people to really understand, you don't have time. That's the last thing you have. You got more money than you got time. So
you said that so many times too before, but that it hits differently on this episode, because like talking about you don't have time, that because you need to just, even if you feel like, oh, I have 24 hours in a day, well, no, look at it as if I don't have time. If you didn't have time, how would you approach things differently? And I love, this is why one thing I've really learned about running business now is how much people rely on other people to set their time deadlines. So that, even going back to school, when we're in school, we typically are told when we're going to have a test. So that dictates. So if I have a test that's coming up this Friday and today's Monday, that typically means that on Thursday, my output level or the amount of work that I'm putting in is going to be significantly greater than what I'm doing on like a Monday or Tuesday, because I know that my deadline, as far as my time that before I'm about to be tested, is coming up. Like it's coming really close. So that's when my output level is going to be a lot greater. And then people do the same thing in the workforce. Once you get to the workforce, you're relying on your boss to set your deadline for you, as far as when you need to have a report due or something like that. So when you switch it into business sense, like I've seen it happen for myself and also for a lot of other people, once you are in control of your own, of how much energy you have to put forth, or like meeting certain deadlines or certain requirements for yourself, you tend to be much more lackadaisical, because you're not because you never had to set those deadlines for yourself. You always assume you have more time. So just by having a deadline and just removing the thought that I have time, this is where I'm going with that. Removing the thought that I have time and saying that I don't, that increases your sense of urgency. Yeah. And by increasing that sense of urgency, you get more results, and then you're able to at least get the results that you want while you do have the time to do it. Right. But because you think you have a lot of time, you tend to waste more of it. If you were assigned a school project at the beginning of the year, and you had a whole semester to do it, you probably wouldn't work on it the entire semester. You're probably working on the last week or the last couple of days. Yeah. So you waste more time when you're given more time. So act like you don't have time, and that's how you'll be able to start taking more action on stuff.
Parkinson's law. It's always going to be a thing. So that's a real thing that I think people should internalize, this entire thing, because that's it's a monumental thing that can make a huge difference in your life. If you just implement this mentality to everything in your life, whether it is everything, whatever you want to accomplish, whatever you want to improve on, you should implement this, and you should really just take heed to it and internalize it. So so what we'll do now is transition to our next segment, which is Ask the Monopolizers, where you can ask us a question and we'll answer it on the show.
How can I be successful? How can I follow the path that someone else has laid for me to be successful?
Ask the Monopolizers.
So, what is our first question?
Yeah, so first and only question. So actually, I went to our archives for this one. So I know you haven't heard this one, but Adrian Russ asked us a while back. We actually think we responded to him. I thought this might have been a decent question to even ask on here. He says that what's it called? He's how much do I need to take for a FHA loan? And what do you do with the property once you have house hacked for a year? That second part's really why I want to answer the question on here. You want to go first on that?
Yeah. So he said, what do you take?
And so like pretty much like I guess the percentage down payment for a FHA loan, and then I think like I said, the more important question I really want to talk about was what do you do with the property once you've house hacked for a year?
Okay. So yeah, I mean FHA is 3.5%.
What is the FHA loan for anybody who doesn't know?
Oh yeah. So FHA loan is, we can get to the technical part of it, but for the most part, it's a loan subsidized by the federal government, Federal Housing Authority, and they pretty much, it is a way to help new first-time home buyers get into properties, and it incentivizes lenders to give out loans, because if you as the borrower don't pay it back, the government will pretty much pay the lender, and that's why they're able to give you 3.5% down only, because it is subsidized by the government, and it is pretty much insured, not subsidized, it's insured by the government, so you wouldn't have to necessarily worry about it. That's the technical part. It doesn't really matter to you, but you only have to put 3.5% down, and you're able to get into a property with very little capital, and you're only technically allowed to have one in your name at a time. And yeah, to answer the second part of his question, what do you do with it after a year? Well, yeah, so that was another thing. You have to live in the property for 1 year.
Correct.
Because you have to, it's an owner occupied loan. It's not an investment loan. It's for first time home buyers that want to buy a home. So you do have to live in the property, but you're able to buy a single family property. You're able to buy a multi-unit property, like a duplex, triplex, quadplex, whatever. Up to 4 units, you're able to buy a property that is a residential property up to 4 units for 3.5% down. So for example, a $200,000 property, duplex, good luck finding those today. You can get that for $7,000 down. But yeah, and you live there for 1 year. And then the cool part is once you move out, you can essentially rent out your other unit or your other bedrooms or whatever you were doing and have it as a rental property. And if you have enough equity, you can refinance out of it and go get another one and do it again. But you can only have one in your name, so you have to refinance out of it. But you could also go do another low money down loan, conventional loan, and just keep the first one as FHA if you don't want to refinance or if you don't have enough equity after the first year. So just that was how I bought my first 2 houses.
I want anybody who doesn't know any of the terms that was just being used to go do your research, because refinance, equity, all those different terms, I had no clue what they were meant in the beginning. Just thinking back on that, but I definitely agree with everything you just said. I really like that second question that you had asked in regards to what to do after the fact. Alex did talk about it, where you can either hold on to the property or you can sell it. But I definitely recommend holding on to it if it was a good one, because as my example for my current house, the mortgage on it is $1,650. It's a 4-bedroom house with a garage apartment on top of the garage. So the mortgage, like I said, is like $1,650. The rent downstairs is already $1,795. So they already covered all the rent for there. And then the upstairs can probably rent for anywhere between $800 to $1,000. So if I move out, that's all that extra money that's in that first place is now, that's in the second unit, that can be extra cash flow to go pay you for your next place you move to. So now, I remember our original strategy was saying, will we house hack for like 3-4 years straight? Our goal was going to be, what if we got like four different types of these properties, like a single family with a back house. And so now essentially what we can do is end up having 4 different units that have multiple rent coming from them. So like, let's say we have 4 duplexes. So that means you have 8 different people paying you. And so now all the surplus cash flow can now pay for some type of bill. Whether if you move into your dream house, as an example, all those 4 different units can now, or all 8 units can now pay you to pay for themselves and pay for your dream house. That's one way to go about doing it, or at least can get you to paying for some type of expense, whether it's a dream car, dream house, but it can pay for something. So that was a strategy behind it too.
Yeah. Yep. Or just, a Camry if you want to do that.
Or you want to get a Camry. Yeah. Whatever you want to do.
One thing I will add to just real quick is you should also look into FHA 203K. It's another one where you can pretty much roll the renovation costs of the property into the loan itself. So you can buy a property that needs work, and you're essentially able to, if you're able to do it correctly, that's like probably the ultimate strategy to buy a property that needs some work. With an FHA 203K, roll the renovation cost into the loan, so you still come with the 3.5% down regardless. And they fix up the property. The value of the property increases, and you can immediately refinance. A
lot more equity in that to be able to refinance.
Yeah, immediately refinance out, and you still get the property. Now you're out of your FHA loan, and you can go. Maybe there's probably a stipulation to how long you can refinance, because I'm sure people probably maybe it might be a year. Probably they say to you, but even then, you can definitely because you'll have more equity. You can refinance out, then you can go buy another FHA straight up or do another 2 or 3K. I'm sure there's people probably killing it with that alone, like making a ton of money. You can become a millionaire just off of one loan or one strategy.
That's a fact. And shout out to my tenants for renewing their lease coming up too. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I'm going through that right now. I got 2.
Yeah, I said, the whole story on that too.
Oh yeah, I'm not even gonna get into that.
So maybe next time.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Dang, that was actually a good story. We'll talk about it in 2 weeks. You just got to remind me.
For sure.
But yeah, that is it for this episode. If you have any questions, feel free to DM us on Instagram at Money Monopolizers, and we'll answer them there. But that is it for this episode of the Money Monopolizers podcast. New episodes will be released every Thursday and will be available. I was going to bring that thing up, but I forgot. New episodes will be released every Thursday and will be available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Just search Money Monopolizers wherever you listen to podcasts. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, we'd appreciate if you rated us 5 stars and left us a review on Apple Podcasts. You can also find out more info about us on IG at Money Monopolizers. We post informative content on there that keep you engaged. So be sure to check that out and share those posts. But till then, we out of here.
You've been listening to the Money Monopolizers podcast, helping you take control of your financial destiny. To learn more about how you can be in control of your money, visit moneymonopolizers.com. We'll catch you next time when Alex and Marlon share more personal finance and wealth creation tips with you. Now it's time to take action.